Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our demo, the AI Workplace Tools, Truth, and Team Grit. Over the next hour, we are going to spend some time talking about our most popular artificial intelligence topics and to get us all excited about where we are going in the world of AI. Now, this is designed as an introductory program that's going to showcase some of our most popular AI trainings, as well as give you some skills to walk away with. So over the course of the next 55 minutes, I would say, we're going to be looking at a couple different topics. And then I always love to leave a little time at the end for any questions or any follow-up from there. We will notice that we have Rachel on with us. It says PTR webinars or Rachel-PTR. She will be in the background giving us any sort of assistance if we are experiencing any audio issues or any visual issues. First and foremost, just try to drop out and come back on in. If that doesn't work, she's going to go ahead and drop her email in the chat for you to reach out to her directly. All right, so with all of that being said, let's go ahead and let's kick it off talking about why AI now? Why all of a sudden does it seem like artificial intelligence has kind of just hit us by storm? So let's start with a simple truth. AI is a tool. It is not a takeover. So the future isn't AI versus human. It's all about AI with humans. And lucky for us, we are still the boss. Think of AI like electricity, if you will. It's everywhere, it's all around us, but it's really only useful when we flip that switch on intentionally. Oh, I see I have a private message here. Oh, wonderful. I have some people that I have been in trainings with before. Welcome back. I don't even know if I introduced myself. My name is Alexis. I am from Rochester, New York, and I am one of the artificial intelligence trainers with PTR training. So I am in Buffalo Bills Mafia country, and I am very excited to bring my knowledge and expertise to our time together today. So thank you so much. All right, so I'd love to start off the course with this quote by Dr. Orion Esatani. AI is a tool. The choice about how it gets deployed is ours. We are driving the ship. Without humans, AI is nothing. We are the flexible of the two creatures. So it's up to us to program and work with AI to the best of our capabilities to yield the best results. Thank you, Rachel. Rachel went ahead and put in the chat her information in case anyone is experiencing any issues or has to drop out for any reason. All right, so first let's define what artificial intelligence even is. Let's break it down. Now, artificial intelligence refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines. And by that, it's enabling them to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as learning and reasoning, problem solving, perception, language understanding, and so on and so forth. So, artificial intelligence is the big umbrella. It empowers computers to mimic human intelligence, the ability for computers to think. And AI systems can either be really narrow and focused. Think of like your Alexa or your Echo or your Siri, where we ask it a specific task and it gives us a specific answer. Or it could be more strong AI, like our chat GPTs that can give us brand new information, brand new imagery, help us code, and so on and so forth. So, overarching artificial intelligence is giving computers and machines the ability to think. Now, a subset within AI is machine learning, and this enables machines to learn from experience and data. So, artificial intelligence, think like Siri setting your alarm. Machine learning, think of it like Netflix suggesting a movie you might like based on training your Netflix on things that you like by the thumbs up or thumbs down, or what you're searching for, or shows that you're constantly watching, or things you're watching on repeat. Then within that, we have deep learning. Think of it like the human brain, right? Artificial neural networks. So there's all these different layers and different things kind of happening all at once to yield the best result. So kind of think of that like your like Facebook knowing how to tag you and your friends on a photo automatically based on thousands of other photos out there and interactions and things like that. And then within deep learning, we have Gen AI, and that's the newest We're kind of getting into quantum AI. We're not quite fully there yet, but Gen AI, that's your Chat GPT, your Google Gemini, your Copilot, your Perplexity, your Claude, all those other ones. Think of it like how you go in and say, I want a poem on lily pads, or I want an image of a cat sitting on a chair, or I want you to recode this whole website. That's your generative AI. So it's really important to understand that your Gen AI, your deep learning, and your machine learning are all artificial intelligence. But on the other hand, not all AI is machine learning. Not all AI is deep learning. So there's definitely different layers within there. So why is AI taking off now? Basically what we mean is, why is AI having its moment, right? Why all of a sudden is it seem like it's just in our face and you can't go one day without hearing about it? First and foremost, let's talk about data. Data is everywhere, and we've seen mass amounts of data, more than we've ever seen before. Every time you click on a button, you make a purchase, you swipe on something, you like a Facebook photo, and so on and so forth, you're adding mountains of data to machines to learn from. So think of it like you're getting all the different books in the Library of Congress all at once within seconds, right? We're going to get a little bit more into this as we go along, but we're getting all this information very fast, all of our tips of our fingers. Next, we have computer power, right? We've got cloud infrastructure and chips and all these other things that are making our once supercomputers look really, really outdated, making them look like almost that they're as capable as a pocket calculator. So what this means is we can run massive models really quickly and at scale and for cheaper than we've ever been able to do before. And then we've got advanced algorithms and models. So the breakthroughs in machine learning, especially when we're getting into our Gen AIs, our Chat GPTs, and all of that, have made AI so much more capable of understanding languages and images, even some of our tones and nuances as it gets to know the user. So if we put all this together, we're not just tinkering with AI in research labs. Now we're seeing it in real world tools. They help us write, they help us brainstorm, schedule, translate, and so on and so forth. But AI didn't arrive overnight. It arrived gradually, and then all of a sudden, like, it was just everywhere. And this is the moment where it's more than a buzzword. It's a workplace tool. And you don't need to be a data scientist or go to school to be able to use it. We actually use it every single day. So let's take a quick moment. Let's go back in time a little bit. Let's go back to 1770. Yes, we are going back to the 1700s, and you're probably thinking, why, Alexis, are we going that far back in time? We're talking about technology of today. Well, the reason why I bring this up is because there was a machine called the Mechanical Turk, and this machine took Europe by storm. It looked like a chess playing automation, and what it would do is it would impress nobles and audiences all around Europe by seamlessly playing a strong game of chess. Very, very impressive. It would stump masters all around Europe, and it just seemed like the newest, most advanced technology. Except it was a hoax, because inside this wooden cabinet of this awesome machine was a human chess player pulling the strings. And the machine didn't think itself. The illusion was that it did. So for over 80 years, until about 1854, the Turk dazzled audiences while secretly relying on human intelligence. And that's the punchline, right? What looked like artificial intelligence was in fact clearly designed as human intelligence. So even all the way back in the 1700s, we were already defining artificial intelligence, right? Just the idea that a machine can think like a human. Now let's fast forward to today's time. How many of us have had to do one of these, right? You get the 9 grid. Sometimes it's all one big picture just separated by lines. Sometimes it's individual pictures. But if you ever had to click one of these that says like verify you're not a robot, select all the pictures that have traffic lights and trees and bicycles and motorcycles and so on and so forth. Guess what? It's not just for your security, right? Of course, it wants to check that you're not a robot because it itself is a robot, but it's even beyond that. You are the Turk's hidden chess master, right? You're training the AI. That little task of selecting the right images is called reCAPTCHA, and it's the behind the scenes. So you're actually feeding millions of responses into machine learning systems to help them recognize real world objects more accurately. So you're the debugger. You're the one that's actually helping train the AI system. So if you ever get it where you do it and you click those boxes right, and it sends you another one and you're like, why? It's noticing you as a reliable, valuable source. So because you clicked all these boxes correct and quickly, it's recognizing that in you and it's going to send you another one. Take it more as a compliment, if anything. So when people say that AI is learning, it's actually learning from us every day by even simple tasks just like this, right? Kill a bird with two stone, or kill two birds with one stone, I should say, not the other way around. It's protecting our security, but at the same time, we're training it. So each click, correction, confirmation, that's all human collaboration powering illustration of the illusion of intelligence. So the big difference is today we know that we're behind the curtain. And this time the illusion is more of a partnership. We go hand in hand. So one of the biggest, most important questions when we're talking about artificial intelligence are you data ready? The world runs on data. We are basically drowning in data, right? It's all around us with everything that we do. We're leaving our fingerprint all around. So we need to understand what data readiness really means and the importance for AI use and what kind of data can be used for the types of outcomes that we are looking for. So in just 60 seconds, and this was done at the end of 2024, so it's obviously going to be a lot higher now that we're in July of 2025, but we are seeing how crazy amounts of data is being put out there, but every second, every minute. So in 60 seconds online, we send millions of texts, upload hours of video, share enough memes to basically belt a data center. So the volume and the variety and the velocity of data means that decision makers really need smart assistants. We don't need more dashboards and we don't need any more data, but that's really where AI shines. That's what it was created for. AI isn't hype. It's a high pressure response to modern workloads. You don't need to fear it by any means. You need to learn how to aim it, if you will. So what is data readiness? So AI itself is only as good as the data that you feed it, right? So if I get one of those 9-grid RChapta thing and I'm constantly messing it up, one, I'm probably not going to get to my shopping cart or to my bank account, right? It's going to think that I'm someone trying to break in. That's problem number one. But also now I'm confusing this model. I'm not training it correctly. So it's really time that we all understand what data readiness really means. And it is just a fancy way of saying, is your data actually usable by AI? AI is not a magician. It's not pulling the rabbit out of the hat and ever getting all the oohs and ahs, like how the Turk machine was way back when. Nowadays, it can only learn from what we give it. And a lot of data out there is incomplete, it's dirty, it's outdated, there's a lot of bias in it, or it's just plain messy. And that's similar to, think of it like if you go to a 5-star restaurant and you want to order 5-star food, that's what you're paying for, and the chef only has like 3-day-old leftovers to whip up a 5-star meal. You're just not going to get it, right? Maybe you'll get enough where the average person doesn't recognize it, but someone that's used to that caliber of food is going to recognize right away that something is off. So think of it as garbage in, garbage out. Whatever I put out there that's what the outcome or the response back is going to be built on. So it's the same thing when you're talking face to face with somebody. If I'm only giving kind of half real information, more biased information, my opinion versus fact, the response I'm going to get back is based off of that. So we want to make sure that whatever data we're putting in is clean and it makes sense. So again, data readiness just means that our info is clean, it's labeled, it's relevant, it's structured, it's accessible. So, think more of your structured spreadsheets, not just scribbled notes on Post-its. So you don't need massive amounts of perfect data. That's where a lot of people kind of get stuck. Does not have to be perfect. but you do need data that's trustworthy and formatted so AI can use it. And that is known as clean data. So if you've ever cleaned up a spreadsheet or double checked an address list, or cross all your T's, dotted all your I's, congratulations, you are already helping make data AI ready. There are so many organizations I've tried to help implement some artificial intelligence software. And as soon as I go there, I can tell they are nowhere near ready because they don't even have a clean data lake, or their SharePoint's a mess, or there's so many restrictions. They don't know where things are held. They don't know who has access. Someone lost the password. And therefore, when you're bringing in the AI, it's only going to be able to perform based on what it has access to and if that data is clean. So bringing AI into that mess, you're not going to get the full potential of what AI can do, and you might cause more harm than actual good. So what kind of data powers AI? Now there's two main types of data that AI learns from, and most workplaces have both in some shape or form. The first one being our structured data. Think of your spreadsheets, your databases, your sensor logs, any forms, anything with like a table or database. The machines love this stuff. They eat it up because it's tidy and it's organized and it makes sense, and it doesn't have to use a lot of computing power to break it down and understand it. It's like digestible chunks. It can kind of get what it needs, and it doesn't have to do too much. Now, on the other hand, we have unstructured data. Think of your scribbled notes or your PDFs or your emails, or your images and your videos and so on and so forth. This stuff has very valuable insights as well, but it just takes a little bit more AI muscle to understand it. Now, the real actual magic happens when AI can combine both. So, pulling patterns from its structured records and then enriching those patterns with context from unstructured content. So, the real question that you have to consider when you're getting ready for any artificial intelligence is, where does your data live? And how can you make it easier for your AI to learn from? Kind of think of it like you're bringing in a new hire employee. If they come in and they have all their passwords, they have a list of people they can contact, they have maybe a mentor, someone they can shadow, they have a nice training schedule, they have their business cards already printed, right? They have all of their websites they need to go to bookmarked. We're structuring it, we're setting them up for success. It's very easy for them to actually learn the job now because we have everything else kind of taken care of. Versus we're bringing an employee in where we don't have their password set up, we don't know, their schedule, the trainer's out sick, we don't know, we didn't have a backup plan. That's where it can get a little messy. So we definitely want to make sure that we are the better of the two. So, what is AI really, and what is it not? There's a lot of misconceptions out there, a lot of fear, a lot of misinformation kind of going out there. I always say, if you are talking to anyone and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm an AI expert, I didn't go to school for it, but I know anything and everything there is about AI. Usually that's not the case. On a scale of 1 to 5, I mean, even AI data architects and engineers, and they're maybe at a 4. It's almost impossible to be at a 5 because we still can't catch up. There's still so much that we don't know about artificial intelligence because it's learning and evolving every single day. Now, it's not going to be, if I have any Marvel Avenger friends in here, it's not going to be like Ultron that's going to take over the world and get rid of our nuke codes, right? But it's very important that we understand its limitations and where we are going moving forward. So here's the exciting part. AI really shines when you need it to do repetitive automated tasks to make your life easier. So think of piles of data sorting, summarization, even a little bit of forecasting or drafting something. This is where AI really shines. So an example would be, ChatGPT helping you rewrite policy language in plain English, or Copilot suggesting a formula for Excel, or Gemini summarizing your meeting notes. This is where it really, really, really shines. They're practical, achievable wins. AI doesn't take your job, it takes the boring, redundant parts out of your job. Now, that is something that is a huge conversation right now about jobs that AI is replacing. But let's just take a moment, let's just take a quick pause and look at that. This is not anything new. Again, now Not just talking about the Turk machine and the idea in the 1700s, but technology or just advancements in general coming in to replace new jobs or replace jobs and open up new jobs. Think of it when we went from horseback to car, right? Ranchers and horse breeders, they kind of didn't, and what do we got cowboys, right? They weren't as needed as much when cars and vehicles came around. But now we needed mechanics. We needed gas station and gas station attendants, right? Think about when we went from hand sewing everything to machines that can produce blankets and fabric much faster. Yes, we lost, the craft and some of the people that do the hand sewing, or it shifted, but then we had to get, CNC machinists and mechanics and all these other things that went into it, inspectors, and now we have OSHA for violations and for safety, and more jobs are being created. We're seeing that now with artificial intelligence. Yes, it might be kind of getting rid of those entry level basic jobs or even just pieces of our own jobs, but we're also seeing new opportunities for our own development that are just kind of happening, and new jobs, right? We're seeing chief data officers, chief AI officers, AI intelligence groups, and we're seeing seminars that are just focusing on AI, and it's kind of separating from the world of just IT. So there is a lot that's still happening. So think of it more as it's helping develop and taking us into more of the future than it is kind of just getting rid of, our basic entry level jobs. So if you've ever thought there's got to be a faster way to do this, you're already thinking like an AI collaborator. Now, what AI can't do, it can't necessarily think at the level of a human. So even though artificial intelligence is defined as giving the computers the ability to think with human intelligence, it still is lacking specific things that go into our human thought processes. It can't make decisions for you, but it can help aid in your decision-making processes. So it's not going to know if a generated answer that it gave you is out of date or completely wrong unless I prompt it to tell it. So if I ask ChatGPT for something and it spits out a wrong answer, if I don't tell ChatGPT that's wrong or give that little thumbs down rating, if I just like exit out of it, it thinks it did me a solid, right? It thinks that it actually gave me a correct answer, but I have to prompt it and let it know. Unlike talking face to face with a human, if I say something and it's wrong, I could probably tell right away by the person's face that something's a little off and can immediately be like, did I say that wrong? Do you disagree? I can already start that conversation. The AI can't necessarily do it. And it doesn't necessarily understand the power dynamics or sensitivity or that empathy like we can as well. This is where we as humans really shine. The human brain brings that critical thinking, brings the judgment, the empathy, the strategy, and those things are not things that an algorithm can just replace like that. So instead of fearing AI, we need to partner with it. We bring the critical thinking, it brings the fast typing. So think of it more like a partnership. It's still a tool, so it's not going to be as great as a human teammate right next to you, but we can utilize it to enhance what we're doing. If I can save 2 hours with, having AI sort through this, then I get that 2 hours to present and help answer questions with my teammates. So let's take a moment and let's talk about collective intelligence. And really, what collective intelligence is, it's the ability of a system to perform at at levels greater than the sum of its individual parts. So think of the human body, right? The heart by itself, the brain by itself, my liver by itself are all great and they can do their own things. But they're much better, right? And they operate when they are all working together. So that's kind of what we're looking at when it comes to AI, right? So it's emerging from collaborative efforts. It's kind of getting its own idea of intelligence and what's successful and what is not. So if CI, collective intelligence, underpins human intelligence and possibly the sustainability of life, a key question for designing our AI applications is, how can AI enhance our collective intelligence? And let me take a few moments with a lunch example and break that down. So for example, if I need to ask, what do you want for lunch? Now, if I ask artificial intelligence, I'm probably going to get a very generic answer, or it's going to ask me a question for more information. So for this example, my AI is spitting out maybe something diverse like ramen or a colorful veggie wrap. Now, there's multiple reasons why I could have gotten this answer, right? I could have gotten it because maybe in a different conversation in my ChatGPT profile, I was asking it, where's a local ramen place? Or I love veggie wraps. Give me a good recipe, right? So it's building off of its memory of me if it's in a profile that I've created. It could also come back with questions like, I see that you're ready for lunch. What do you like? What do you have any dietary restrictions? Are you looking for takeout or eat in? Are you going alone? So it could start to ask you questions, but usually it has to be prompted for that. Now, on the other hand, if I ask my human counterparts, now I'm starting to get more data. I'm starting to get more information that's going to lead me to the correct decision, right? So I could have people say, well, what is around here? What is easy and quick to get? What is everyone craving? So now we're getting that brainstorming, right? That collective thinking. Now we're starting to get some more information. I had pizza last night. Now, if I hear personally, someone said, well, I had pizza last night, me as the human with my uh thinking process, I would be like, well, not everyone, not the average person wants to have pizza multiple days in a row. So I can automatically eliminate pizza for the group or eliminate, that person getting pizza or say we have to go somewhere that offers more than just pizza. If I went into my AI and said I had pizza last night as part of my data, it might not recognize that I don't want it again. It might say, oh, well, here's 15 pizza places now that I know that you like pizza. Because again, it's looking at something very surface level, right? Pam is gluten free. Should we invite John from HR? It's 8 a.m. Let's revisit this at 11 a.m. So we're getting more and more data. So AI really enhances our abilities, but the workforce and AI together itself, it still needs some human-centric skills. Now let's take that with it being supported. So back to our original collective intelligence question, how can AI enhance collective intelligence? Using this example, AI can enhance CI by facilitating that collaboration. AI can be designed to improve the collaboration among the individuals and the groups by providing tools that streamline that communication and that coordinated effort. So AI-driven platforms can integrate the data, right? So different individuals weighing in their opinion on what they want for lunch, key insights like location and dietary restrictions and timing, and then facilitate real-time collaboration, right? Suggestions or additional questions. And overall, we're enhancing our collective decision-making process. So I ask my colleagues, what do you want for lunch? They give me all the data. From there, I can plug that into my AI and say, what do you think? And I'm getting a much better tailored answer. Based on location-based services, there is a local Mexican restaurant within 2 blocks. The restaurant offers gluten-free options. Optimal ordering time for delivery or pickup for 6 under 30 minutes is 11:05. So I'm definitely getting a lot more valuable, digestible information and suggestion versus what I saw before on the previous slide by going to AI with no data and just trying to see what it'll give me. So now we're going to talk about some everyday AI that drives real results. So we're going to look at a table of some of our most popular AI applications and why it's not a one size fits all. So here are some tools that are already changing the way that we work. And these are some of the most popular. It's not all of them. There are millions of different AI applications, right? Because not everything, there are different versions of everything. There's paid versions, there's levels, there's different, we got ChatGPT 3, 4, and so on and so forth. We also have custom GPTs and chatbots based on, internal. So I know with the US Army, they use Sage or they use Camo GPT. So it's just different versions with different restrictions and different privacy. Now, overall, here's the secret. You are probably already using AI, even if you don't call it that, right? We saw that example of that 9 grid. me tagging friends on Facebook, I'm already training it. Me liking a show on Netflix or watching it for the 100th time, I'm already training the software. Now, tools like ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, these are more than just those buzzwords, like I mentioned. They're powerful assistants that help us do a variety of tasks that, again, we're very capable of doing ourselves, but it's just saving us time and saving us that extra effort so we can focus our skills that only we as humans can do elsewhere. But like I mentioned, not all tools are created equal. It's not a one size fits all. Some are better for writing, some are better for organizing, some are better for research, some are better for image generation, and so on and so forth. So it just depends on what you're looking for and how you're looking to use it. So the key is really knowing what your task is and then choosing the right AI assistant for the job. So ChatGPT, the most popular, right? It was created by OpenAI, kind of took the world by storm 2021, 2022. But it's really great for drafting emails, answering your basic questions, generating policy options based on stakeholder input. Then you have your Copilot. That's built within Microsoft itself. So it's really great with your Microsoft applications, your Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Teams, creating slide decks, helping with formulas and functions. Then you have your Gemini. Gemini is great for translating internal documents. It helps you brainstorm. Really great for writing like blogs and articles and things like that. And then you have Perplexity. And this is one that I love and I feel like still not a lot of people are aware of or utilize. But Perplexity is fantastic. And I would say the most top-notch one for research. So finding quick cited facts, it's going to take something that you ask it and in live time by the second spit out facts for you. So for example, I can go to Perplexity AI and I can type in, what is the best four-door vehicle for a family of 5 in South Carolina, right? It's going to take that. It's not just going to take that search. It's going to do a Boolean search as well based off of that and similar things that are also researched around that same parameter. And it's going to show me how it came to its conclusion. It's going to give me cited references and articles and even photographs. And it's going to pull from multiple different things, not just scholarly articles, but it's also going to pull from reviews. It's going to pull from the maybe car dealership's website. It's going to pull from Reddit and LinkedIn and Facebook. What are people talking about out there? And so that is a really great tool. And then, of course, you have your individual customized chatbots to what is, you're using it for customer service. It's going to be programmed to fit within your parameters of what you offer. If it's, more internal, like that Sage and that Camo, there's GR, there's DOI. I mean, there's so many different ones. It's going to fit in with your data in your database and then not, have any leakage or anything out there. AI is as secure as we make it and we utilize it. And what I really mean by that is AI isn't secure for your sensitive information, right? It's not great for throwing your social security number, your address, things like that. Not great. You don't know where your data is going. You don't know how it's going to be stored, how it's going to be used, how it's going to train future model. There's no oversight of it. So just curiously, driven without guidelines. So really how you can think of it is it can be secure, but using AI without certain guardrails or protectiveness around it is very similar to if you walk in a room of like 500 people and you start shouting out secrets, right? These are people that are probably very smart in this room and have a great memory, but we don't know who's listening. We don't know what they're going to do with that information. That's kind of how we got to think of our AI. So again, the key is knowing your task and then which AI is going to fit that the best. And on top of that, with the free versions and things we have, which ones are really going to stand out? Which ones can we utilize the free versions because they're good enough? And which ones should we pay more into? I love when I do actual full-blown Gen AI courses to have at least 3 or 4 AI applications up side by side, ask it the same question and kind of see which one's going to yield me the best results. Or I might put in one for one of my chat bots, a question. Then I take that response, I throw it into a different one. I kind of pin them against each other and say, hey, ChatGPT gave me this or Gemini gave me that. What's your response? And kind of see, do my due diligence and kind of pin them against each other and see which one is going to, have the least amount of bias and give me the most out of what I'm putting into it. So now organizations can utilize AI collaboration in almost any capacity, but we're going to talk about the top 5 industry examples of where we see AI being utilized the most. First and foremost, we have data analysis. We are seeing that AI is helping us with large amounts of data sets. It's helping us uncover patterns. It's helping us understand predictions and forecasts. It's helping us with security threats, and it's helping us look at, where we are going based on information that we currently have available. So again, those past events. So humans can then interpret these insights and apply them to the soft skills of decision makings and problem solving and so on and so forth. So that is where we're seeing it obviously used a lot. Then we're also seeing it in customer service. So AI can analyze customer patterns and experiences and feedback based on it, and it can troubleshoot simple issues so that humans can manage more of the complex, sensitive interactions and provide critical thinking and empathy. So instead of bogging down a human on a very basic question, customer service AI chatbot could provide that answer to that person and hopefully get them on their way. If it is a more complex question, then the AI can direct it to the human, but now that human's not so bogged down. Task automation is another one. So AI can automate those repetitive tasks. Take it from here, put it in here, click this button, copy and paste this email. All of that can now be done by artificial intelligence, and it saves me the time. Again, it's not that we can't do it, but the question is should we waste our valuable time, the thing that none of us can buy? None of us can buy more time. So should we waste our time on these things that can be done a lot faster? Or are we kind of getting stuck in the mud there? Then we have healthcare. So AI has been really taking healthcare by storm. Again, a lot of parameters and protection around it because of HIPAA and all that fun stuff. But we can look through medical records and make diagnoses a lot quicker. So if we think about someone that comes into the ER, the doctor might not have hours or days to do some research and compare results and look at things. They might have minutes or seconds. So being able to take an x-ray, right, get rid of the personal information, but take an x-ray and kind of put them against 70,000 other similar x-rays, we can start getting some results of, hey, it looks like this because AI has identified these 5 things. And then the doctor at least has a starting point, and we're just saving on that time. And then language translation. So AI can quickly provide basic translations, and then humans can refine those translations, right? We're thinking of like slang and cultural context and nuance meanings, but we're seeing even now with apps on our phone, I can talk right into my app and it can translate it right out to you much faster. We've also seen that AI chatbots have been actually helping with learning new languages as well. All right, now let's talk about humans plus AI even deeper. It's not about replacing, it's about empowering. So, yes, there's going to be some jobs that go away because AI is going to replace them. But, like I mentioned, we've been here before. So, now let's see how we can empower. Almost think of it like that movie Hidden Figures, if anyone's ever seen that, where you had all these women that were, they did all this math, and then they had a machine that was coming in they knew was going to replace them. Now, no one could figure out this machine. So what these ladies did is they went and they figured out the machine. So they kind of knew that their old job was being replaced, but they were irreplaceable, right? They made it so, yeah, you've got this great machine, but you need people that know how to work it. And we actually do. That's what we bring to the table, right? Our soft skills plus this AI or this machine, that's where the magic is. Again, they can kind of work by themselves, but one is going to be better than the other at something. So how can we come together harmoniously? There's no stopping or slowing down the integration of AI, right? But we have noted that human ability to understand its context, which is where AI tools lack, is a very important insight. So our soft skills are essential for anyone working with AI. They are supposed to be a complement of the technical abilities, and they're supposed to help facilitate effective collaboration, communication, and problem solving, and so on and so forth. So we just have 10, just the top 10 crucial ones that we have seen. So for critical thinking, right, that ability to look at something from all different points of view, right? We're analyzing information objectively, we're making reasoned judgments. It's crucial for evaluating AI outputs and decision making. We all can't be optimistic, we all can't be judgmental. So how can we look at these from different points of view? Problem solving, the capacity to identify issues, explore solutions, adapt strategies, really great for troubleshooting with AI models and how we're going to implement it. Creativity, thinking innovatively to generate new ideas and approaches. So it's valuable for designing novel AI solutions and applications, right? Again, AI is not a one size fits all. So with the creativity of humans, it could be, I see this worked over here for this group. It's not working so great for this group. Where's the gap? How can we actually create something new that is more flexible when we kind of transfer it from different groups? Communication, it's so important that we have clear communication, written and verbal, to convey AI concepts, what we found, what are some implications, how can we talk about this to diverse audiences? Collaboration, working effectively in teams, understanding roles, leveraging diverse perspectives to enhance AI development and employment is so key. I always think about when Apple first launched its facial recognition. They had experts in the room. It was a great technology. However, unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of diversity in the team that created the facial recognition. So when they launched it, they got a lot of harsh feedback, a lot of pushback. It was hurting their brand. People were losing trust in it, right? It was really designed for a specific facial type. It didn't take in consideration different ethnicities, mustache, beard, glasses, hairstyles, male versus female, so on and so forth. So being able to collaborate together and figure out, okay, what's going to work, what's not, and the deployment is only going to build that trust and that recognition. Adaptability, so flexibility and openness to change, though it's very crucial for navigating the evolving landscape of AI. So how do we build our employees and our teams and our organization and our customers to really be open to this change and to recognize how we need to adapt to this and how to be flexible around it? Ethical reasoning, understanding ethical implications of AI decisions and behaviors and making choices that align with ethical standards and societal values. So being able to understand, why can't my organization bring in this AI, or why do I have these policies on how I use it, right? We have empathy. So that is something that we still as humans hold a lot higher. We have it, AI doesn't. So it's the ability to understand and consider perspectives of end users impacted by the AI technology, ensuring designs meet real world needs, understanding what is appropriate for AI, what is not. I can listen to someone talk and I can feel their emotion, I can feel their tone. How is that working with artificial intelligence? We got leadership, so guiding and motivating teams to work on AI projects. So how do we lead by example? How do we get that buy-in from our team? And then our last one is resilience. So the capacity to persevere through challenges and setbacks, inherent in AI development, maintaining focus and continuous improvement for learning. With anything that's new, there's going to be pushback, there's going to be errors, there's going to be room for improvement. So how do we stay on course? How again do we get that buy-in, but then keep that buy-in and keep our AI working and our employees happy? So keeping humans in the loop really comes down to competitive advantage, and competitive advantage hinges on the human involvement. So hastily replacing talent with AI is a real significant error. And why I'm saying that is, firstly, AI can be replicated. We as humans cannot be replicated, and we cannot replicate unique business models and processes and all of that thoughtful human integration. Secondly, AI relies on historical data, which may not hold true in today's volatile global business landscape. So we think about it, there's so much that is happening, but AI is only based on historical data. So if you ever take a data introductory course, you'll talk about the four main types of data. You've got your what and your why data, your descriptive and your diagnostic, your past data. And that's what leads you into your predictive and your prescriptive, your future data, right? This is where we are going, and this is what we should do to continue we're going there or to change path. Now, think of like the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. There was a scientist that said that every math-based model failed during the pandemic due to unreliable assumptions. We didn't have enough data. We didn't have a precedent that we can lean back on. Yes, there's been other diseases. Yes, there's been other outbreaks, but this was something brand new. So every prediction that we made, every avenue we took, there was a lot of errors, right? We're even still seeing there was mistakes that we made along the way. We were doing our best based on the data that we did have, which just wasn't a lot. So business decisions are intertwined with real world factors. Think of inflation, your geopolitics, your labor issues. This is where our human expertise is crucial, and the empathy and the thought process is so superior. So we're noticing that there is a constant underscore, and that the new competitive advantage and the edge kind of lies in the human critical thinking and that overall decision intelligence. And then thirdly, AI is prone to errors and drift where outputs can be fabricated or inaccurate. Relying solely on AI really does pose a risk of flawed decision making and potential legal ramifications. So we're seeing some parameters that are being built around this, but AI is only going to think based on its perception of what you're trying to say. So if someone comes to me with a text message with no emojis or no, grammar that makes me think they're excited, I'm going to take it at face value, just like AI does. If that person was saying the same thing to me, but we were face to face, I could probably get more of a picture because I'm seeing their body language. I'm hearing the inflections in their tone. I'm seeing their facial expressions. So there is a balanced approach. So today, working effectively with AI demands a more sophisticated understanding. It's not just about what you know, but how you apply it in the context of empathy, culture, and social nuances. So as AI progresses, our approach must also evolve accordingly. So cultivating these soft skills that we mentioned ensures that we are not only keeping on pace with AI's rapid advancement, but also harnessing its potential, right? What is the responsibilities? What's the ethics involved? Where are we most effective? And this is what prepares us for a future where technology and human values are harmoniously coexistent. So if we think about it, I might be a singer, right? I can sing on my own. My voice is beautiful. It's really not, but we'll just pretend like I can sing, right? On my own, I'm pretty great. But then you bring in the band. You bring in the graphic designer to make your album. You bring in your PR team to really sell it, right? That's where we have a harmonious existence. We're think of it kind of like that collective intelligence, right? We're both great, but the sum of us to greater, or to some of us together is greater. So AI is still remaining a tool. The focus should be on people, right? How can people and our skills really help with its AI counterparts? And now let's kind of wrap it all up with how we train our teams to leverage AI. So we're going to talk about some proven methods to build AI skills with your workforce, and then some first steps to integrate in AI into your daily work. So first off, you have to consider some questions, right? Number one question is, what is your goal? Right? Why are you even bringing in this artificial intelligence? What is the purpose? What's the why behind it? Do you need creative writing help or brainstorming or drafting? I know that if I need any of those things, then ChatGPT and Gemini are going to be superior. Do I need help with my Microsoft applications, right? I do a lot in Excel or a lot in Word. Copilot is going to fit that a lot better. Now, on the other hand, do I need factual or cited answers where I do a ton of research? Now I'm leaning more into my Perplexity. Now, another question you want to consider is, are you working in a government secure environment? So does this tool offer enterprise or government grade data controls? Is data privacy or compliance or no model training in your input important? Another question is, what platform are you already using? Am I already using my Microsoft Office, my Teams, my Outlook environment? I'm going to lean more towards Copilot. If I use Google Sheets and Google Docs and Gmail, I'm going to lean more towards Gemini. If I'm using open web and research or custom, standalone AIs, I'm going to use my Perplexity or my Chat GPT. Fourth question, do you need real-time, up-to-date information? If the answer is yes, then I would, again, lean more towards my Perplexity. If it's no, then I can use more of my Chat GPT. And then finally, how complex or technical is your task? If I'm looking at data analysis or I'm looking at coding or anything kind of like that, I'm going to use different applications. If I'm looking at policy explanation or summarization or just basic communication, now I'm going to lean on my other applications. So these are just some 5 main questions to consider when you're not only figuring out should you use AI, but which AI you want to bring in. Now, training teams to leverage AI is all about how we build our AI muscle across the workforce. And there's 3 main building blocks. First of all is awareness, right? We all don't like to be left in the dark. It's not a great feeling. So we definitely don't want to do that with AI that already has all this confusion and fear kind of surrounding it. So what even is AI? What is the AI that we're using? Where does it fit in and why? Then we have the application of it, hands-on tool practice, not just something we launch and say, all right, have fun, figure it out, call us if you have a problem, but then not give you the number, right? It's all about how are we going to practice with it? What's the training that we're going to get behind it? Again, we're getting that buy-in. And then the adoption of it. How is it integrating into our workflows? These are the 3 main building blocks before you even consider launching what you're going to do. And you've got to remember that we are humans. We have emotions. So not only is it we have to learn the technical skill of AI, we have the emotional piece that's going along with it as well. So as leaders or individuals that are introducing AI, we have to be cognizant of not only do they have to learn this AI and how it's going to replace some of their repetitive tasks, but we also have to help them understand that this isn't to replace them. It might be to replace a couple hours here or there, but it's really to help build upon them and build the organization. The more money we can get, the more we can pay out in bonuses. The more time you can save, the faster we can get you into a leadership program or promote you. And then the list keeps going on and on and on. Training teams, really the first step. The best way to get your team AI ready is to start small and practical. You want to train with real tasks, not theories, right? Real things that they can do. You want to show people how to use AI for their work right away. Where is this going to benefit you? Get them excited, get that buy-in. And then that's where we'll start to see that mindset shift, right? Once they know the why, once they start playing with it, once they get excited about it, now we're going to see that fear and that confusion mindset completely shift. And then how they also realize it works. So once they realize it works and the how, then they can build the confidence and then they can start sharing across teams. So think of it like when AOL or AIM first came out, or even when email first came out, or when Teams first came out. Anytime something new comes out, the more that we use it, the more that we'll get tips about it, and the more we'll share not only feedback to the people that created the application, but to each other, and we get that buy-in. I love to use the example of Venmo. I remember when Venmo first came out, I got in this huge argument with my mother. She was like, I'm not putting my information and all of that out there. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, Mom, you're already using PayPal. You're already transferring, you're already doing wire transfers, but she didn't trust it yet. The more I talked about it, the more I showed it to her and I showed her how easy it was to use and protect it. And then I got her buy-in. And now my mother, all she wants to do is Venmo. So that's kind of how that same idea. We want to share these tips across teams. We want to get them excited about it. And that's how we go from AI curious to AI capable. So becoming an AI ready workforce, as we wrap up our demo here today, this is just a nice little mini roadmap to kind of get you thinking. First, you want to build that awareness. You want to get comfortable with AI. Then you want to take action. You want to use AI on real on a real task, right? So maybe this week, if you're going to launch it with your team or you're going to practice yourself, start something like with low stakes, right? Rephrase this email. I want a chocolate cake recipe. Help me write out a plan for a new hire onboarding process, right? Starting off small, but very practical. And then from there, we want to keep learning. We want to keep building a culture of learning. You want to start with what has worked. You want to share what has worked. You want to ask questions. And you want to understand the future, again, isn't AI versus people. It's people who know how to work with AI. That is our superpower as humans. So with all that being said, thank you so much for joining our demo today.